Penn State against Oregon right now. That's on New Year's Day, all games on ESPN. And joining us now is the head coach of the Oregon Ducks, Mario Cristobal. Mario, we just showed bowl projections. Obviously, your team has much grander aspirations right now. How do you address the rankings and where your team is and what the possibilities are when you talk to your squad?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do, you have to acknowledge that it's out there, because social media, it rains, and if you think you can ignore that, you're absolutely crazy. So with our leadership council and our players, we acknowledge the noise and we immediately put it to bed and get right focused on our processes, which have been really good to us. I mean, we're a very grounded operation, want-to-know mentality, and when I say want-to-know, I'm not talking about that week. I'm talking about that next meeting. I'm talking about want-to-know in that next practice. That's worked really well for us, and we're going to stay the course.
Where would you say that your team has improved the most since the beginning of the season, most notably the game against Auburn?
Well, no doubt. I think the best part about it is we got healthy. You know, we entered game one, unfortunately, with some really important playmakers down, and then about 4 or 5 weeks later, we started getting these guys back, and it was great. Our defense did a great job playing outstanding football for us. I think we're ended up being a top 10 defense at this point in the season. And we grew special teams-wise. We played 27 freshmen and newcomers. Those guys played really critical roles for us. The offense now is averaging about 41, 42 points a game over the last 5 games. Special teams-wise, our coverage teams are better. Our return game is better. We're playing with a lot of passion, playing with a lot of energy.
Mario, you have a very interesting perspective. You played at Miami. You've coached in various spots. You know, your last stop was at Alabama, who's, you know, a lot of times viewed as kind of king of the mountain, and now you're at Oregon. I always feel, after doing this for 24 years, the Pac-12 doesn't necessarily get the recognition, and I don't think there's an awareness of the conference top to bottom as there are the other Power 4 conferences. What's your take on not just Oregon, just now that you've been on the outside of the Pac-12 and now been on the inside of the Pac-12? What's your take on the way the Pac-12 is looked at around the country?
Well, I mean, the thing that I can comment on mostly is what I've seen over the past couple of years in the Pac-12. The addition of some great coaches that have brought some really good blueprints to the conference. I'm talking about things that stress physicality, that stress player development. Recruiting is certainly taking a spike in the right direction. And what you're seeing is, you know, when you play a 9-game conference schedule, you're developing, you know, your football team, but you're also playing some really tight games, some tough contests. So all those things lead to program development and player development. And all I see is a conference that keeps getting better and better and playing really good football. And so far, it's been a pretty good year. So, you know, after being a coach in the ACC, in the SEC, in the Pac-12, I feel just as strongly about the Pac-12 as any conference I've ever coached in.
Hey, Mario, after the start of this season and losing to Auburn on a neutral site, is that a game that you look at now, obviously, that's worth scheduling in the future if it's something that maybe holds you back or is used as a knock against you?
Oh, no, we're going to schedule that every single year. And you look at our out-of-conference schedule coming up for the next couple of years, it's strong and it needs to be. And I'll tell you what, guys, in that first game, you know, you come back to a locker room, and if you don't win that game, you kind of get a sense of where your team is. And the sense in our locker room was, you know what, it didn't quite, we didn't get the result we quite wanted, but we did see a lot of things that we really emphasized in the offseason, like our physicality, the development of the trenches on our team. And the sense was we can have a really good football team. And ever since then, week in and week out, we've gotten better and better and better. And we got a ways to go, and we all feel we still haven't played our best football yet. So we're going to keep scheduling those type of contests early in the season.
Mario, with the 1-0 mentality in mind, what's the most significant challenge that Arizona State presents?
They've got a lot of really good football players. They've got phenomenal athletes across the board. Their defense makes it really tough to run the football. I mean, about 45% of the time they're stunning the front or bringing a pressure. On the back end, they give you multiple looks, try to confuse your quarterback. Their freshman quarterbacks are both really good players. I mean, they kill you with their feet, with their arm. They extend plays. Their offensive line's playing tough. Receivers, who are also the return specialists, are make you miss and take it to the house type of guys. And they play really well at home. So, you know, we feel really strongly about our process going into this thing, but we also feel that when it relates to our opponent this week, nothing but our very best is going to be good enough.
Mario, we appreciate the time. Wish you the best of luck. Game Saturday night on ABC at 7:30 Eastern Time. Mario Cristobal.
What's up? Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. Don't forget to download the ESPN app, and if you want more premium content, which you do, make sure that you subscribe to ESPN+. See you soon.